Oh. I have finally grown the courage to release something that I've carried the shame of for many years. The biggest mistake that I've made, and I can't even call it a mistake, but hurtful decisions I've made in my life. Some things recently happened that brought this back up, and I feel like Spirit is telling me that it's time for me to release the pent-up energy behind this. And I am no longer allowing anyone to make me feel like I need to be ashamed, because it's just a part of my story. I'm human, and I'm not a malicious human. I'm human, and I fucking make mistakes. When I was 23, I got with who is now my ex-husband. But the way we met, he actually dated my sister first. He dated my sister for about 3 months, 3.5-ish months. During that time, he worked with us, and we had a family business. I worked for my dad. And so we were both basically running the company right under my father. It was a really big company, so we worked a lot together. We were just really cool. We meshed well. We got along really well. But there was never anything like that between us. We really just were cool. This was a period where my sister was going through a lot of trauma. She just got divorced. I hadn't dealt with my childhood traumas that I've spoken about before. And so it was really a chaotic time. We were all drinking, doing drugs, stuff like that. And so, everyone was fighting. I think when I moved to North Carolina, to be honest, I moved to get away from my sister because we had a very codependent relationship, almost toxic codependency. And so I moved away to get away from, try to break that cord and, have a more healthy relationship. But then she ended up moving behind me, and I think a lot of stuff just didn't get healed in our relationship. And so they ended up breaking up, and during that time, he did express how he felt about me, and I told him legit, like, no. I'm like, don't say things like that, and he said, okay. A little bit later, we ended up having a conversation, because I just had the conversation with myself, just being honest about my own feelings that I've been bearing, not had been bearing, but that I realized had come about. I guess I hadn't really honored anything. So we had a conversation. And then after having the conversation, again, this is a time where we, did drugs and, a lot. And I guess he got really shit-faced. Never had a sexual conversation, not once. And he sent me a meme that he saw online that had a sexual innuendo in it, and my sister found it. So in her mind, I had been screwing her man, and, all hell broke loose. I'm saying this because I was 23 at the time. I am now 34. And I've been through so much therapy over the years. I've gone into the deepest depths. I wasn't like a FU to anyone in my family. My sister is like one of the most closest people to me. I love her like a mother. And I realized that I don't think recently me and my ex-husband have gotten into a better place where we can co-parent effectively. We've become friends. And I've noticed that my sister now after 10 years, is beginning to feel, just say little things and little comments. And mind you, I have 2 children by this man. He's also the father to my daughter. He's raised her since she was like 2. And so I felt like I healed a lot behind this. But I realized that, the conversation we had, I put my sister aside and asked her to please, just be mindful of the things you say. I know that, at this point, it's been 10 years. My son's about to be 10. My youngest is just turned 8. He's been around the family. It's not like this is fresh. He was been around the family. My family, it's like he's family to my family. Like, there hasn't been any craziness or anything over the 10 years. We've all acted as a family. So it's like these new things are just coming up. And I know that she's going through her own healing process, but in that, I just ask, like, please I don't like it when you say those things. As your little sister, where I am in my life, I'm not the same person I was back then. I've healed, and I've done so much to try to heal the situation and give to you, but, I really just don't want to be in a place of just fighting over some man. I really don't. And she reacted. We were fine. We were in a good place. So it's crazy how close we are that she basically disowned me. She told me to fuck me and my therapist and all the years of whatever therapy I've been through, and no one's gonna control her, and she feels like she's been hurt too much, which I can't take away her pain or whatever, but to me it's like we've done for each other. And I feel like the moment that happened was the moment my sister was able to just, I don't know. I don't think she sees how much I've given to try to rectify that moment in my life. But what I can do is release this. This isn't necessarily for anyone to have an opinion or need to know my story. This is literally just me releasing one of the most painful and shameful moments of my life, because I'm really not that person. I'm really a person that loves hard as fuck. And I give my everything to people. And my intentions, even back then, were not malicious. I just was young and made a fucking mistake. And I've been trying to write it for 10 fucking years. And I'm no longer allowing myself to carry it. And if I realize, really just sitting here, that it's not in making it, I've done my part with her. It's not in making it right with her. It's in releasing. Because how is she? She has the right to feel and receive and move how she wants. But I still have the right to release and let it go. And that shame has carried me because I've worried about, like, my kids and what they feel. And I've had a conversation recently with my daughter about it, telling her the truth. And she said, she kind of had a feeling something like that happened. And the love that I got back from her, I was shocked. The support. So, I'm only making this to say, just letting this shit go. And, y'all can fucking eat me up in the comments, don't give a fuck. But I'm just no longer gonna carry this on my shoulders. I'm no longer gonna beat myself down. I'm no longer gonna tell myself that I'm a bad person or what's wrong with me, or I'm just a fucking human. And I'm leaving it here.